Sit back and relax. It's time to talk week 3 in the NFL. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and I am fired up. NFL week 3 is here. I have completely forgotten week 2. That's right. It didn't even happen in my book, but I'm ready to go. The anticipation of every single NFL weekend is just awesome. Just a quick reminder, our NFL player props video, that's out every Friday night, so there will be no player props on this video. It will be tomorrow. But we're excited. We got game bets. We got lots to talk about today. So before we get into all that, we got to talk to you about our partner, KALSHI. We've talked about it before. We've done some trades of the day, won some money. This is federally regulated in all 50 states. It's like stocks, so you can buy, sell, contracts, things like that, except for all world events that actually interest you. Me and Ryan and our wives have had a ton of fun doing it. All you got to do is click the link below. You get a $20 bonus credit. You can bet on things like video games, movies, politics, much, much more. It is a ton of fun. So go check out KALSHI. It is a one-of-a-kind website, that's for sure. But let's get into this big week 3 slate, and that means it's time for that NFL fun fact. So here we go. The Carolina Panthers have won 3 straight divisional titles in their history, but they have still never had back-to-back winning seasons. That's that's insane. But here's a bonus NFL fun fact because I felt like it. The 1932 Bears held their opponents to 2 points through the first 4 weeks. 2 combined points, which means they had 3 shutouts. You know what the record was through the first 4 weeks? 0, 1, and 3. 0 wins when you held your opponents to 2 points in 4 weeks. Apparently, the Bears have struggled offensively since 1932, so that's good to know. Anyways, in this video, we're going to recap Monday Night Football. It was a tough one. Oh, sorry, Thursday Night Football. I don't know why I said Monday night. We went 1-1. We split, lost on the hook, but we'll go over that in just a bit. And then we're going to go over those week 3 trends like we always do. And then I'll give you 3 of my favorite best game bets for week 3. And then we're going to talk 2 possible added plays. I'm still waiting on injury news and also see where the odds go and all that. So we're going to talk through 2 more plays that may be added. So lots of football to talk about. Of course, we'll wrap it up with the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below. Help that algorithm. Help this channel grow. And if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We talk MLB, NBA, and NFL all year round. And of course, we have a ton of fun doing it. So let's get right into it. And that means it's recap time. All right, there it is. 2 half-unit plays that we put on Thursday Night Football, and we split 1-1. Lazard, how about an early cash? I think that was first quarter, maybe second quarter. He had 48 yards in the first half and never got any more yards, but he went over pretty easily. Aaron Rodgers just liked to spread the ball around. Then the second half just got kind of stale with the blowout. And speaking of the blowout, Breece Hall over 4.5 receptions. He had 4 on 5 targets, but he had another catch. Guess what? It didn't count. It was called back on a holding penalty. Otherwise, we are sitting with a 2-0 sweep right now. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Again, it's that Patriots-Jets game was just awful. If we take a 1-1 split and you lose absolutely nothing, we just take it and move on. So that's the Thursday Night Football recap and the season record, the entire breakdown of player props, game bets, all that kind of stuff. We do that every Sunday night after the weekend is over, just so you know. But there's the overall season record right now. So that's what we got. Now it is time for the Week 3 trends. All right, it was a losing weekend for the week 2 trends last week. We'll show you the overall record on the next page, but it was just a weird week in the NFL. So let's see what we got today for trends. Bears under a 9 of the last 12 games. The total in that game is 43.5. Side note, as you can see there, the Bears have now held 8 straight opponents to 20 points or less. That is pretty impressive. Giants under in 15 of the last 21 at 38.5 total there. Eagles are 1-8 against the spread last 9 games. If you like that, you take the Saints minus 2.5. The line movement in that game was absolutely bonkers. I mean, the Eagle, I think it moved like 6 points at least. It is insane. Now the Saints are favored. Chargers have gone under in 14 of the last 17 games, 36 total. Offenses are struggling to start the NFL season. You are seeing a ton of low totals. And then Vikings under the first half total in 14 of the last 19. That first half total is 23.5. Broncos scored first in 13 of 18 games, and the team they play, the Buccaneers, have scored last in 13 of 18 games. So if you want to take that, Broncos to score first bet, it's plus 135. Just something to think about. Lions 8-0 against the spread following a loss. Do not piss Dan Campbell off. He comes out ready to play. Detroit minus 2.5 if you like that one. 49ers 9-1 straight up, 7-3 against the spread last 10 games versus the Rams. They have absolutely owned them, and the Rams are now playing with their entire practice squad team, it seems like. If you like that, either obviously you take the Rams on the money line or the minus 6.5. And then since the start of 2021, Dallas 12-3 against the spread, following a loss. This one hit quite a bit last year. Obviously, they're 12-3. If you like that, you take Dallas +1 against the Ravens. So that's all the trends. Now, I got a ton of info for you. I don't know if it's going to help you with your betting, but at least I just love these numbers because it at least opens your eyes to different things. So it's going to be kind of random. But underdogs that are 0-2 against the spread cover 60% of the time the last 20 years in week 3. Just so you know. Underdogs of 7+ points are 3-0 straight up to start the season. That one is silly. That underdogs of 7 or more points have just won the game. 3-0. It's just crazy. Underdogs of 6+ points are 8-0 against the spread through 2 weeks. They are covering by almost 10 points per game, guys. It's just crazy. If you just blindly took every underdog of 6 or more points, you are 8-0 in those. Now, on quick, this is just random stats. Now we're getting random. On quick passes, so 2.5 seconds or less, Trevor Lawrence's dead last in completion percentage and his 4.4 yards per attempt on those passes is 30th in the league. I say that because Doug Peterson is a guy who loves to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly. Maybe that's why it hasn't been a good mix or a good fit there in Jacksonville. But next one, only Bryce Young has a worse completion percentage when pressured than Caleb Williams so far. Sean Payton, 3-18-1 against the spread the last 11 seasons, or last 11 seasons in the first 2 weeks. He has struggled at the beginning of the year for a long time. Why this guy is not getting more crap after what he said about Nathaniel Hackett still baffles me. On play action, the Ravens' opponents are 15 for 15 with 102 yards passing. I don't know what that helps. It's just some stats. Only 5 QBs have thrown for 300+ yards this year. Only 5. Those 5, 2 and 3 straight up, 0-4-1 against the spread. It hasn't been good. Now, the betting public, which means the betting public side is 51% or more of the tickets. They are 11-20-1 against the spread this season. They had a winning season last year, actually, and the best season they've had maybe ever, I believe it was. But so far this year, 11-20-1 makes sense because last week was it was a bloodbath for the public, as well as most people. So anyways, last season, that was the trends record. This season, off to a slow start, 10-17. This second page is more just information. We're not counting that, but hopefully this helps you out in one way or the other as a part of your handicap, not the only reason you make a bet. But that's the week 3 trends, and now it is time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to Viva Las Vegas, where the Raiders host the Carolina Panthers. Raiders -5 total in this game, 39.5. This is the game of the year. It's the one we've all been waiting for. Tell your spouse you have to sit down and watch this game. There's nothing else you can do. We have Andy Dalton. He is back, the Red Rifle. He is in the court as quarterback now that Bryce Young has been benched because he was horrendous. And I mean, he was bad. But we'll talk a little bit more about this team in a bit. Raiders are coming in riding high after a great comeback win in Baltimore. That was absolutely insane. Gardner Minshew just has that Minshew magic, I guess. But my bet in this game, I'm sure you're not even happy I'm betting this game, but it's an over 39.5 at -115 on FanDuel. This is my 1/2 unit play. The rest are going to be 1 unit plays. I'm doing a half unit because it's still the Panthers. I'm counting on the Panthers to score. But my goodness, let's be honest, this game is ugly. The Panthers, though, coach and management have put their necks out there on the line now, saying Bryce Young has to be benched. That means this coach, he better figure out how to make Andy Dalton work, because otherwise he's going to be losing his job soon too. So Andy Dalton is an upgrade over Bryce Young. Okay, I'm just going to say that every single quarterback almost is an upgrade over Bryce Young. Now let's talk about the Panthers in general. This is going to be the easiest matchup for their offense that they have. Obviously, with a better QB now, they have faced 2 top 6 pass defenses the first 2 weeks. Now they face the 18th ranked pass defense. They have faced 2 top 6 run defenses, and now they're playing the 25th ranked run defense. And they've also faced some really tough red zone defenses, and now they're ranked 22nd. So the pass blocking, here's the thing. This is the thing about Bryce Young. He has struggled mightily, but it's not because he's not getting any blocking. In fact, their pass blocking has actually been a top 10 pass blocking unit for Carolina. They're doing fine. He has no confidence. He can't make throws, no awareness in the pocket right now. It was pretty much a Bryce Young thing. Not saying this offense is loaded or anything, but I think this quarterback change sparks it a little bit because the receivers look like they gave up on something. They just gave up on Bryce Young. They just know they're wasting their time running routes. They were getting frustrated. I think we see a different type of offense here. And now they're facing a Raiders defense. Bottom 5 rush defense so far. Chuba Hubbard could find some room here. Honestly, he had 10 carries for 64 yards last week, but the Raiders have struggled also getting pressure on the quarterback. 3rd lowest in that department at 15.2. Only the Panthers and the Chargers have a lower quarterback pressure rate. I think the Panthers have a chance to get to 20. If they get to 20, I love this because I think the Raiders can get to 20. But the Raiders offense, they got quite the combo now. Devontae Adams and Mr. Bowers. My goodness, that rookie tight end is an absolute stud. You heard Gronk come out and say, this guy might break all my records. He's having a great debut so far in the first 2 games. The offense just put up 26 points last week against Baltimore. Their one struggle on offense has been the run game. They have not gotten Zamir White going yet, but if they can get an average run game here, this offense is going to be, I think they scored 24 plus points pretty easily, and what a matchup for that. They're facing a Panthers defense, 31st in rush defense. If they can't get it going now, I don't know when else they can. They just gave up 190 total rush yards to Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, and 111 total rush yards to Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams. Their pass rush is absolutely non-existent. I mean, line up me and Ryan on the D end, and we'll get as much pressure. It has been terrible. The lowest QB pressure rate in the NFL, 8.3%. Crazy when you only have one good pressure guy and you trade him away in Brian Burns. But I'm not even sure why they have defensive linemen, to be honest. But Minshew should have all day to find his weapons. I think the Raiders get some scoring here, especially if they get that run game going. So overall, Panthers offense, first of all, they just have to be better. They can't be any worse. I think Andy Dalton is going to bring something to this team, some leadership out there on the field, reading defenses, obviously making throws. He's done it before in his career. You know, he may be 68 years old, but still, I think he's got more in the tank for compared to what we've seen from Bryce Young. So Raiders, weapons on offense, and these are just 2 really bad defenses I don't trust, just especially the Panthers. 2 bad defenses. Both teams cannot get pressure on the quarterback, guys. A 39.5 total is usually for 2 teams that have like great defenses or just such horrendous offenses that you can't even fathom it. But I don't think that's the case, especially with the Raiders. So give me the over 39.5 in an ugly one as my first best bet. All right, this second one takes us out to Seattle, where my Seahawks host the Miami Dolphins. Seahawks minus 4.5. Total in this game is 41.5. We got to talk some injuries real quick in this one. Tua obviously out in this one, and Skylar Thompson will be taking over. He has been on the Dolphins for a little while. He's not some rookie. He is a veteran here, but we'll talk about him in a little bit. The Hawks are also pretty banged up. Kenneth Walker, doubtful to play. Noah Fant, questionable. Leonard Williams, questionable. Devon Witherspoon, our best DB, questionable. Tyler Lockett, questionable. I do expect Tyler Lockett to play. But there's just a lot of red flags on the Seahawks right now. So you want to know where my best bet is? It's not my Seahawks. If you are a Seahawk fan watching this, I apologize. The Dolphins plus 4.5 at minus 110 on DraftKings. This is a 1-unit play. This line has moved down a bit. If I bet it earlier in the week, I would have got a little bit better number for the Dolphins, but I still think 4.5 is good value here. Hawks are coming off an overtime win on the East Coast, while the Dolphins come in here with extra rest after losing on Thursday Night Football to the Bills. Here's my question. What have the Seahawks done to deserve to be a 4.5-point favorite over a decent team? They have beat the Broncos and a bad rookie quarterback in Bo Nix by 6 at home, did not cover. And then they beat that Patriots team. Did you just see that Patriots team play? Obviously different divisional game, Thursday Night Football, but they just beat the Patriots in overtime. And now they're banged up. Home field is not as important in Seattle anymore, in case you're curious. As a home favorite, Seahawks are 0-1 against the spread this year. Big deal. 2-4 against the spread last year. 1-4 against the spread 2 years ago. A home favorite has not meant covering at all for Seattle lately. So the big reason for this line, obviously, is Tua out, Skylar Thompson in. Here's a big trend for you. Backup quarterbacks are 29-15 against the spread versus defenses not in the top 12. So when they're facing weaker defenses, backup quarterbacks, because the line pretty much moves too much and disrespects it a little bit much, the Hawks are a bottom 20 defense, and which is what they're talking about here. So 29-15 against the spread. And I'm going to be honest, Tua hasn't looked that great. Anyways, it's a drop off, but it's not as big as people think, in my opinion. Thompson's regular season record 3-5. He has 3 interceptions and 119 pass attempts. They're going to ask him to hand the ball off to Devon Achane a lot, and I think he's going to have a huge day here. He's going to get it to his playmakers, obviously get it to Tyreek Hill, give it to Jalen Waddle. This is not a Denver Bronco team. This is not a New England Patriot team. This team actually has weapons. The Seahawks have faced 2 offenses that maybe have the least amount of weapons in the entire NFL, in the Broncos and the Patriots, and now we got these 3. So, like I said, I think Achane has a big game on the ground here. Seahawks run defense 19th, giving up almost 5 yards per attempt. They just gave up 177 total rushing yards to Antonio Gibson and Ramondre Stevenson. They did hold Denver in check, but they don't have a good run game at all, or passing game, or really anything. And now they have to chase Achane, Hill, and Waddle all over the field. It's going to be a little harder than you think, even though Skylar Thompson is the quarterback. And then Seahawks offense. You could see their running game take a big dip when they lost Kenneth Walker. It looks like he will be out again this game. Charbonnet last week, 14 carries, 38 rush yards. They did unleash Jackson Smith and Jigba finally for his first 100-yard game, along with DK. But the Patriots defense has given up a lot of yards to the wide receivers. If it's not Christian Gonzalez, they struggle defending really anybody. But anyways, now they face a Dolphins defense. They have allowed the 5th lowest pass yards per game. They just held Josh Allen to 139 yards passing, held Trevor Lawrence to 162 yards passing. Jalen Ramsey has got some history versus DK Metcalf, by the way, from when he was on the LA Rams. That should be a good battle. They're going to go at it. And then also the Dolphins' run defense, they've struggled a little bit, but I don't see it being as big of an issue with Kenneth Walker out, with some injuries along that offensive line. Plus, our offensive line is just not very good in general, as most of you already know. So overall, I don't think the Seahawks are a team that should be giving 4.5 points. I don't think they've done anything to deserve that yet. That's too many. I think this game comes right down to the wire. Dolphins have a shot to win it. Obviously, I'm rooting for my Seahawks. Seahawks like a 1-point, 3-point win, that'd be perfect. But if the Dolphins can run the ball with Achane, that's going to be their best chance, because that guy is electric, that's for sure. So give me the Dolphins plus 4.5 as my second best bet. All right, before I get to those 2 possible added plays, I have one more best bet for you. We are heading out to Minnesota. That's right, the land of the tiny beverages. Vikings hosting the Houston Texans. Texans -2. Total in this game is 46. My best bet, I'm going to get right into this one. It is the Texans -2 at -110 on BetMGM for 1 unit. This is a sell high spot for the Vikings. So I'm going to be honest with you. I was really close to taking the Vikings team total under 23.5. I switched it to Texans -2. I'm assuming they both hit or they both don't. But the Vikings offense last week, yes, you will see they beat the 49ers. Yes, they scored 23 points against the 49ers. Let's talk about that game. If you actually watch the game, because in football, you cannot just see a total and how much they scored, and that's it. And they just say, okay, that's a team that scores a decent amount. That's not how it works. They were handed 3 points with a block punt. They went 20 yards in that drive just to get a field goal. They had one 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson. You take that away, Darnold had an okay game. Offense just was okay. Purdy interception at their own 10 just gave him 7 points. They went 10 yards, scored 7 more points. Vikings did not put together one touchdown drive down the field. Obviously, yes, they had a touchdown. It's considered a touchdown drive, but it's a 197-yard touchdown to Jefferson, like I mentioned. And so if you take that away, they got out-yarded by about 100 yards. And is that fair? Not exactly. But that's just one way to tell you they got lucky. Part of that was defense, and they played well defense, so they did good things, that's for sure. But and then let's talk about their offense in week 1. They played the Giants. They scored 28, but not really. They scored 21 because they had a pick 6 off Daniel Jones. So far, they have scored 21 offensive points versus the Giants defense. That's right. The Commanders just scored 21, I believe, against that defense. And then they just scored thanks to a pick at the 10-yard line, a blocked punt, and 197-yard pass. They needed all that to get to 23 points. That's why I almost went with their under 23.5. So the big difference here, the Vikings have been able to get some push up front and run the ball pretty well. But again, the Giants are awful versus the run. 49ers are decent. That was a decent running performance by them. But the Texans are going to be by far their hardest run defense they have faced. They're a top 3, top 5 run defense in this league. Maybe end up being number 1, number 2. They were like that last year. They are going to struggle when it comes to being on the ground. So without the run game, more is going to be put on this passing game. Well, that could be an issue because Jordan Addison does not look like he is going to be playing. He has not practiced yet all week. I could be wrong, but that means it is going to be up to Justin Jefferson and just Justin Jefferson. Anyways, that's one solid receiver in Darnold is going to make it tough to score consistently against this really good, sneaky good Texans defense. And Vikings have also been helped, as you know, by creating turnovers, like we just talked about. Stroud is excellent at taking care of the ball. You guys already know that. 5 interceptions so far in his career. And then the Vikings, they're also a team that likes to blitz under new head coach or new defensive coordinator Brian Flores. Stroud versus the blitz this season, 17 for 20, 8.3 yards per attempt. That's pretty impressive. That's not going to do much. Now, the Vikings did sit back more in coverage in week one, but I'm expecting them to blitz a little bit more like they did in week two because that's just what Flores does most of the time. But either way, if you sit back and don't get pressure on him, we know how good Stroud can be as well. This Texans offense been balanced. They've top 12 in both run and pass offense, which is what you like to see. In my opinion, this is an offense that can beat you both ways. If the game shows or the defense kind of gives you more of the running lanes and things like that based on how they're playing, how many guys are in the box, all that kind of stuff, they can beat you through the run. They can beat you in the air. We know they have weapons absolutely everywhere. Nico Collins is questionable. Not ideal. He's humongous. He's a stud. I do think he plays here. It sounds like he will, but he is questionable right now. Just a heads up. Vikings do have holes in their pass defense. 25th in pass yards allowed, and one of those games was against Daniel Jones. They just gave up over 300 yards to Brock Purdy. Texans are the better team here. Now, 2.5. This line was not, or this 2 line was not here before the season. The Vikings have improved defensively. I am not here to just crap all over them, but the Texans are still a better team here. If you watch the Texans the first 2 weeks, they got wins. They left a lot of meat on the bone. I'm going to be honest. They should have scored more. They should have won by more. There's just some unlucky things that happened as well. I think they are a good team here. They're the better team, and I think the Vikings kind of come back down to earth a little bit. So I like this number. Texans -2. That is my third best bet. And now let's talk some possible added plays. All right, before we get to those 2 possible added plays, we got to tell you about our promotion with Bet365, guys. This is an awesome deal. It is not going to last forever, but bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's simple. It doesn't matter if your $5 bet wins or loses. You will get $200 in bonus bets. It is a great way to start that account. And as you guys know, I always recommend having as many sports books as possible to get the best value and odds for every single bet you make. If you want this deal, click that link below in the description for Bet365 before it goes away. So, of course, you must be 21 years or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, back to the added plays. All right, we haven't done this yet, but I have 2 other plays that have just not quite made it as a best bet, but they are very close, and I want to kind of talk through these with you, and I'm kind of waiting for some injury news and things like that. So both or one of these could easily be added. Of course, they will be in the Discord, which is free. They'll be on X and also in the pinned comments below. So here we go. Let's talk through this. First one, Titans -2.5 at home against the Packers. I know. I get it. It's Will Levis, and I'm an idiot. I understand. But let's talk. It's all about Jordan Love here. If he is out, I absolutely love the Titans in this game. Malik Willis did not do much last week because he didn't have to. They ran all over Indianapolis like everybody does, apparently. And now he faces Tennessee. This Tennessee Titans team could very easily be 2-0. They have out-yarded both of their opponents. Week 1, 244 to 148 against the Bears, 300 to 265 against the Jets. Mistakes by Levis are the reason they are not 2-0. Instead, they are 0-2. So I understand that's always an issue there. You heard the Titans coach coming off the sideline. He was not happy at Levis. At some point, he's got to stop being dumb, right? You just have to at some point. But the Titans defense, if you do not know about this Titans defense, they are one of the best in the league. They are fun to watch. They are top 10 now in both pass and rush defense. Malik Willis will be forced to throw against possibly what I think might be a top 3 pass defense in the NFL. The Titans right now, how about number 1? They allowed the fewest passing yards per game this year, only 114 yards per game against Aaron Rodgers and then the rookie Caleb Williams. They have one of the best cornerback duos in the NFL. Obviously, L'Jarius Sneed is just a humongous help for them. This is a playoff type defense. They just need to get their offense to go on. So they should be able to run the ball here, which I think is going to help immensely. We know the Packers. I explain them all the time. They're dad bod, very soft in the middle, and they have allowed running backs to just dominate them for like 2 years now, it seems like. They've given up the 6th most rush yards per attempt. Tony Pollard's looked good. Tajay Spears, when he comes in, has been running pretty well as well. So I think if they can get the ground game going, it's really going to help here. But the main question, can Levis not be an idiot? That is the question. If he can avoid some of the dumbest plays I've ever seen since the Mark Sanchez fumble, I think the Titans can finally win this game. Like I said, this could easily be a 2-0 team. Easily. If they're 2-0 right here, we're not getting this spread against possibly Malik Willis. So if Malik Willis is the starter, I absolutely love this. If Jordan Love is in, we're kind of in this tough spot because if Jordan Love is in the game, this line might go up or it might go down, which is okay. But now you're facing Jordan Love. If Malik Willis is announced in, maybe it goes over a field goal, which obviously changes this. So I'm kind of right on the fence here right now. I'm gonna wait for injury news and try to get on this as quick as I can. But right now, Titans -2.5 is a possible added play for me that I really like. The second one, Sunday Night Football. That's right. We are heading out to Atlanta. I like the Falcons +3 at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. I really like this at 3.5. It has moved to 3 on a lot of books. I think the sharps are getting all over this one, but the Chiefs have not been playing well. Let's just talk about the Chiefs for a second. Mahomes is playing like an average quarterback. I can't believe I'm saying it, but he's just not playing well. Pacheco is now out for a long time. He is one of their best weapons. Kelsey looks like he's already halfway to retirement. I mean, he's pretty much non-existent out there. And even this Chiefs defense just has not looked as dominant either. 31st in pass yards allowed. When you lose the number one DB in the league, L'Jarius Sneed, you're going to struggle. That's just how it is. They're average with quarterback pressure rate. They're not a team at this point in the season, at the beginning of the year, when they don't play as well anyways, that just goes and beats decent teams by margin, by a lot of points. Now, the Falcons, I like what I see from them. There's been a lot of people hating on the Falcons, but Cousins in this past game, in my opinion, will continue to improve. You saw it from week 1 to week 2. Huge improvement already. He's coming back from a big surgery. It's a brand new team. You have to give him time a little bit. And I think that game-winning drive will give them a little confidence as well. This O-line is pushing some people around. They're opening up big holes for Bijan Robinson. And my goodness, on defense, their safeties are so good. Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, they are fun to watch. One of the best duos out there, along with A.J. Terrell. They got some players on defense. Now, their one weakness, they struggle versus the run. When you're facing now a rookie, Carson Kelly, and some other guys, maybe it's not that big of a deal. We're going to find out. Obviously, any running back can run if there's huge holes everywhere. But if they can just slow down this run, I can't imagine this Chiefs defense just lighting up the scoreboard, because they haven't yet already. They haven't been covering the spread. They haven't been beating teams, like you think they would be. So I would love 3.5 here. I think the Falcons are a little underrated. I think the Chiefs are still getting a little bit too much respect going on the road to Atlanta on prime time. Getting 3 is very tempting. Atlanta has a chance to win this game, but again, Mahomes always pulls out some magic. But I would gladly take the 3. If it's 3.5, if it moves back up to 3.5, I'm more than likely going to jump on this. But I'm on the fence right now about that one as well. So those are my 2 possible plays that I may add. I just want to talk through it with you guys, because obviously it's just about giving you guys info so you can make your own bets as well. But that's what I got for the best bets, the trends, and the possible added plays. And now let's take a look at the recap. All right, here are the week 3 best bets. Again, player props will be out Friday night, but over 39.5 Panthers Raiders, half unit play for me. Dolphins +4.5 for 1 unit. Texans -2 for 1 unit. And there's the possible added plays. Not official best bets yet, but they could be. That's right. Titans -2.5. Jordan Love news. Falcons +3. Hoping to get 3.5, but still may bet that either way. So that's all the info I got for you today. I appreciate all the support. If you haven't already, hit that like button. This is fun. I love talking some football. It's nice with the MLB playoffs right around the corner as well. So thanks again. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.